zig is on the wheel, wheel in the middle of the wheel. Oh, the zig is on the wheel, zig is on the wheel, wheel in the middle of the wheel. Put my diamonds on, by and by, gonna see the king. By and by, I'm gonna see the king. By and by, I'm gonna see the king. Put my diamonds on. Say some coming, dying, it's on. Say some coming. Say some coming, dying, it's on. Put my diamonds on. By and by, I'm gonna see the king. By and by, gonna see the king. By and by, I'm gonna see the king. Put my diamonds on. Every day they gotta stand the test. Every day, every day they gotta stand the test. Put my diamonds on. All right, by and by, going to see the king. Now, I certainly want to tell you that the original audio is included in this lesson, and you're certainly going to want to listen to it, because I don't care who you are, you don't sound like Blind Willie Johnson. I don't sound like Blind Willie Johnson. He's the only one that sounds like Blind Willie Johnson. So we can learn the notes, but your rhythm, whatever your rhythm hand is, that's who you are, and that is almost impossible to learn somebody else's rhythm. So that being said, we're going to talk about the right hand real quick. I know I have in the past, and I know a lot of people, as I've looked around online, have subscribed Blind Willie's bass parts to a alternating bass of 6/4. And it wasn't until I really dug into these songs for these lessons that I realized that that's rarely the case for him. He rarely sticks to a 6/4 alternating bass. He combines all sorts of variations of that, whether it's 6/4, 5/4, sometimes it's monotonic, sometimes it's a 6 brush, 5 brush. So it's not, it's not a simple 6/4, 6/4 throughout all his songs. And just to be aware of that going forward, that's made it a little bit difficult to nail down an exact bass part for this stuff, is that it's very much in the moment. As he feels, he's switching things up. And so I've simplified it for the purposes of the lessons, so we can actually just grab onto something and go with it. So we will stick pretty much with a 6/4, 5/4 bass for this song. Now, like I said, the majority of the slide is happening on one string, and that's the first string. So I'll play through the intro and we'll walk through it real quick. So before I go into that, I will say that I am dampening with my palm with my right hand. I'm also dampening with my first finger behind the slide, and you can make a case for either or. I do it. It's helped my playing considerably to just clean it up a bit, and the case that I make for it is that your finger has to go off the slide, so you might as well use it. It's not separate, so you might as well use it with it. So you're going to slide up to the 7th, up to the 12th, 9, 7, 4, 0. So that's going to sound like. So 4 goes down to 2 and off. So that's the first part. Continue on, you're going to go 2, 0, 9, 5. So connecting those two together. So now you're going to go from the 5th fret. This is one instance when you're playing more than one string. You're going to slide up to the 12, and you're going to do 1st string, brush the 2nd and 3rd string. Same thing on the 9th fret. Single string on the 7th fret. So that's going to sound like. And for now, if you would, do your brushing with your first finger brushing up, not down. We're going to get to another song where you're going to be brushing down, but for now, do up. And then you do the first part over again. Okay, so that part on the 7th fret. Now if you start at the 5th fret, slide up to the 7th, down to the 5th, and off, it's going to sound like this. Which, out of context, obviously doesn't sound the best, but when you add it, when you do it like that, it's just wonderful. So again, you're going to be. It's just the. And that's kind of in between, just the 2 and the 3, you're kind of in between the frets there. It's not, most of the time you're playing on the fret, where this one down here on the 3rd, you're kind of in between. And then you end on your 2nd string, 5th fret. So going over that, putting that all together. And that serves as the by and by part, so you would just sing over that. By and by, I'm gonna see the King. By and by, gonna see the King. By and by, gonna see the King. Wouldn't mind dying if dying was all. You can see there's a little variation between the intro and the actual singing, where you're not doing the. You're not doing that when you're singing, you're just going. And then at the end, he simplifies things as, wouldn't mind dying if dying was all. So you're just doing the single strings there. Wouldn't mind dying if dying was all. You're not doing the. So that's the intro, that's the by and by. Now we'll go to the verse, which again happens on the 7th fret, and let's run through it real quick. Wouldn't mind dying, gotta go by myself. Wouldn't mind dying. Wouldn't mind dying, gotta go by myself. Wouldn't mind dying if dying was all. So a lot of similarities between the two. Again, first part of the verse, 7, 7, 7. Wouldn't mind dying, 9, 7, 4, 2, 0. So that's that same 2, 9, 5. So now we get into the fun part of, you're at the 5th fret, you're going to slide up to the 12, and you're going to use your thumb and your first finger, and it's 12, 10, 9, 7. So just going back and forth. And then it starts over again. Which brings us to the end of the song, where he does an instrumental verse on the way out. And again, it's with the same technique, thumb and first, going up, doing the 7th fret. So that end part's the same as the end part of the intro. I'll run over that last part real quick. You're doing the same frets that you've been doing, 7, 9, 12, and so on. So nothing's changed. It's just that your picking pattern has changed. And he actually ends with the 2nd and 1st strings on the 5th fret. So that's By and By, Going to See the King. We'll go to the split screen and we'll go through it together.